Good day, traders. Welcome to the FX Traders Edge Bungee, Semaphores and Wavy Tunnel webinar part 3. And we will, in this particular session, I hope if you have not attended the trading rooms, I hope you will be most impressed at what we're about to show you. Yeah. We're going to show you the Royal Bungee trade. Yeah, this isn't Wavy Tunnel as such, but is extremely useful when the markets are going sideways and Wavy Tunnel trades do not present themselves. Okay. And we will also be looking at the Royal Yellow Trendline trade, which is, I think, the cherry on the icing on the cake. It is absolutely amazing. Your probability of having a successful trade is so high you hardly even need to think about it. So we'll get to that. Then we'll have questions and answers, and it's entirely up to you how long that session lasts. So if you've got questions from the previous 2 webinars, please bring them to that session. Okay, and go away then and use it. Please use it. Okay. First of all, well, we're going to look at the Royal Bungee trade, but I just wanted to show you a note we made on our charts on Monday morning's London room, sorry. And just to show you how all this comes together. Can you see this orange vertical line? And can you see that on that line it says, so this is the candle, it's the 1 hour chart, this candle. And when we looked at this chart, we said at that candle, this currency pair is going higher for an upper yellow semaphore and the green bungee to the upper reversal zone, because, and we've learned this in the previous 2 sessions, because price had crossed the wave and the tunnel, therefore the high probability was to expect an upper yellow semaphore and the green bungee to the upper reversal zone, and it wasn't there at the time. It only just touched the edge with this spike, did a retrace, and then lo and behold, the green bungee completed its journey to the top. And I'm not sure exactly where this appeared and how many times it's moved to the right, but there's our yellow semaphore. So that is an absolutely perfect example of how we can, using the bungee and the semaphores, we can predict where the market's going. Yeah, with a very high probability of success. The times it lets us down are irrelevant, because it's just happens so frequently that these patterns repeat themselves. So I just wanted to show you that because I noticed it on the Euro hourly chart. Okay, well, there is another interesting thing about this which you might like to watch, and we'll come back to this chart shortly and you'll know why, because on this chart we have the Royal Bungee trade setting up. Okay, so what is the Royal Bungee trade? Let's make a start at understanding how this works. First of all, we get a royal semaphore, top or bottom. Everybody knows what a royal semaphore is. Yeah. After the royal semaphore has appeared, price crosses both the wave and the tunnel. and the gold bungee completely crosses the channel, the bungee channel, from one reversal zone to the other, depending on which way up the trade is. Okay, if that happens, the next thing to do is to measure the retrace of the move between the previous two royal semaphores. And we need it to be, I haven't got a precise number for it, yeah, but I would imagine it's somewhere around about 50%. 38% can happen, but invariably lets you down. So at least 50%. So if all that has taken place, and this is why you need to be looking at history on these charts and not just the coal face. Okay. If all that has happened and we do not have a royal semaphore, then we can expect one. And if we can expect one, then if we get a retrace, we can trade the continuation with confidence. And if we get a retrace, we can trade wavy tunnel trades on the lower time frames in the direction of the expected royal semaphore. And that is it. That's all there is to it. Keep it simple, I say. Let's go through that on a chart. Okay. Number one, a royal semaphore appears. Number two, price from the previous royal has crossed both the wave and the tunnel. And that's bound to happen. You can almost ignore that. Since that royal, we'll stick to the slide that I showed you. Since that royal, price crosses the tunnel in the opposite direction. Since that royal, the yellow or gold bungee crosses the channel from one reversal zone to the other. Then we measure the retrace between the two previous royals. And if we've got a reasonable retrace, 50% or more, and we do not have, in this case, a lower royal semaphore, then we can expect one. Okay? And that's the setup. That is the setup. Let's run through it again and keep it really simple. Royal semaphore appears. Price crosses the channel, the wave and the tunnel, sorry. Gold bungee crosses the channel. Measure the retrace. If it's big enough, we expect a lower royal semaphore. And the market has now started going sideways, so there are no wavy tunnel trades available to us. So we now know for sure. Don't forget when I say for sure, yeah, we're talking about high probability. It's not guaranteed, but it's very high probability, enough for you to lie on. I'm not quite sure I know what you mean, Ashok, with your question. Was there another set royal semaphore in between for a retrade? No. Oh, you mean here? Ah, well, okay. let's go back and examine that, because it's a good question. If that had been royal, if, oh, hang on, if that had been royal, yeah, that's point 1. Point 2, price crosses the tunnel and the wave. Well, it only just went above the tunnel, but we'll allow that. The next condition is the gold bungees crossed the channel. Whoops, no, it didn't. We stopped here. So no, there was never a setup here for a lower royal, because the yellow bungee didn't go to cross the channel. Good, excellent. That's cleared that up. Right, let's go back to this one. We know now that price is not going above that line until after it's gone below that level and given us a royal. Yeah, whatever it does in here and however long it drifts sideways, we know we're going below the green line before we go above the red one. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, where we've advanced the chart slightly. Okay, so this was a noble, and that's the level we said we were going below before we went above the red line at the top there. Yeah, because we needed a lower royal semaphore. Yeah, and that's exactly what we got. Okay. Not necessarily, Henry, no. If you get a royal semaphore early, no, it can quite easily give you a royal semaphore at 38% retrace for a wave 4 and then move up for a wave 5. So no, you don't get the converse with this one. Yeah, we're only looking for a missing royal semaphore. We're not looking for any other things to be missing. Good question. Rats. Yeah. So there we got it. Now there are other things to observe here as well while we're on the chart. Let me put that line up. I want you to notice there, across there, the bungee divergences. Yeah, for us coming lower. Before this move down for the royal started, down here, I want you to notice the bungee divergences for that peak. Yeah, telling us that this is what was going to happen. No, it has to go into the opposite reversal zone. It has to go above 20 or below 80, Barbara. Now then, we've advanced the chart. We've seen our lower royal. We're still going sideways. You can see that on the channel. And once again, yeah, we got our lower royal. Price has crossed the wave in the tunnel. The gold bungee has crossed the channel. We need an upper royal. We are not going back below that point until we get an upper royal semaphore. And the upper royal semaphore surely is most likely to appear above there. So we're looking to trade long for a Royal Semaphore. Let's advance the chart once again. And here it is, the same chart. That's our original need for a lower Royal coming down here. Here at this point, we identified the fact that we needed to go up for a Royal. So once we get to the end of this retrace, we can go long on any time frame you like. If this is a daily chart, you can go long on an hourly wavy tunnel trade. If this is an hourly chart, you might find a long trade on an M5 chart, such as a price to wave fill the gap, breakout one, to set you off on this move. Yeah, it doesn't matter which the time frame is. So there we are, it happened again. We can trade from here, we can trade for the upper Royal. You should test this for yourself, because you will believe it more when you've checked it out for yourself than just having me tell you. And when you believe it, you'll use it, and it can be very advantageous. Once again, it's helping you know whether your harmonics are going to work or not, whether your wave count's going to work or not. Yeah, and it's enabling you to make trades that have a high probability of success. That's what it's all about. Okay. Well, there's that move up. There's that move up. Once again, here's a move below. Price has crossed. That's the Royal Semaphore we just had. Price has crossed the wave in the tunnel. The gold bungee's, well, it's not actually from there, it's from back here. Has crossed from one reversal zone to the other. The retrace of the previous move is 50% or more. We are looking for a lower Royal Semaphore. Same thing again. And some of these moves might be quite quick, really. They might not be 5-wave moves. They might be single wave moves, or on a high enough time frame they may appear that way. So there we were at that point there, expecting a lower Royal. No, sorry, take that back. I think we were there expecting a lower Royal. The gold bungee had only just got into the low reversal zone. So what we're looking for, as soon as you see that set up, is you're looking for a retrace to sell for the lower Royal. Same setup again. Note, yeah, note, lower high on price. Massive hidden divergence on the green bungee. Look at that. You will soon learn to pick from this tangle of stuff. You will soon learn to isolate elements of it that give you fantastic information. All you have to do is use it until, like for me, it becomes second nature. So once we started going down after this failed snapback up of the red, we've got a red stretch away down, a red failed snapback up. There's the stretch away down to meet the yellow. There's the snapback up to meet the blue, and we failed to make a new high. We got hidden divergence on the green bungee. We're going down. So now we know we've got a Royal bungee trade and a confirmed reversal of fortunes. So we can trade from somewhere up here to somewhere down here and make our pips. And in this case, look, it's supporting what appears to be a breakout 2 type trade. I don't have a wave count on this, but right here, when we come back below the wave and the filter, yeah, it's a breakout 2 type trade. The Royal Bungee trade. Okay, you like it? Are there people in the room who've not seen that before? I know people in our trading rooms have seen it because we identify these nearly every day. You will see in the Skype room when we post our analysis of the markets and we talk about a particular time frame needing a lower Royal Semaphore or needing an upper Royal Semaphore, yeah, then that's what we mean. That's what we mean. So after the retrace, hopefully you get a retrace. You don't always get the retrace. This could have kept going down here and just given us the Royal. What we really want from this point is a really deep retrace so that our stop, which goes above here, is really short. Yeah, therefore we get a nice big trade size and we've got a long way to go to get our profit. Yeah, so anywhere up here where you get a short trade on the lower time frames, you can trade it with confidence. Now, we were looking before we started with all that at the euro US dollar hourly chart. Let's apply what we've just learnt to this chart. A Royal Semaphore appears. Price crosses the wave and the tunnel. The gold bungee crosses from one side of the channel to the other. We are looking for a lower Royal Semaphore. We have a massive retrace. Yeah, the high probability is now that we're coming down for a Royal. Now, I am well aware that this is not 100% perfect. Nothing ever is in Forex. It never is. It's a chaotic and random market. But the high probability is that this is coming down. It doesn't look like it at the moment. We still have an upward sloping wave. We have an upward sloping tunnel. You would think in terms of a breakout 3. The bungee has given us a stretch away with the green and the yellow staying high. So we would expect a failed snapback up. We'd expect a successful snapback up to a new extreme. Yeah, so I am not ready yet to sell it. I'm having to wait for the confirmations. But if we get a failed snapback up and we continue lower, yeah, then I would be inclined to see this as a top, and we're going for that lower Royal Semaphore. The Royal Bungee trade is plain to see on this chart if you look back far enough in time. Yeah, we have, just bear with me a second, we have, this is a live chart so I can put the fibber on it. Yeah, we have retraced nearly down to 88%, not far off, so that's well above 50%. And providing we turn around up here, our minimum, our conservative target is that previous low for a royal, a lower royal. So over the coming days, possibly weeks, because we're slowing down for the Christmas break, over the coming days and weeks, you can watch this develop. Hopefully it's one that works. I see no reason why it shouldn't, but I will not throw the royal bungee trade out if it doesn't work, because I can guarantee you that it won't work every time. Nothing ever does, but it's a high probability of working. Okay, just looking at this, seems to correlate with sideways market. Yes, it's best used during sideways markets. I did say that up front. Yeah. In a trending market, this is why I'm looking for a deep retrace, because in a trending market, you can get the yellow bungee crossing the channel and price only retraces 20%, 30%, something like that. Okay. Oh, there are, yes, there are reasons to believe this is turning now. Absolutely, Renzo. The spike for a start. Yeah. Bungee, divergence, red, blue, not sure about green, definitely not yellow, but certainly red and blue. Bungee, divergence. All we really need now is a failed snap back up. So to trade this short, I'm waiting for this stretch away to complete. And if the blue and red come right down to the bottom, it might be that the green comes below halfway. So I would be expecting then a failed snapback. And it would be nice if that coincided with a combination of wavy tunnel trades, wouldn't it? Let's put them on. We're looking for a price to wave that stops in the gap, a retrace back above the wave that fails to make a new high. That's your failed snapback on the bungee. And then a fill the gap that morphs into a breakout one. That's the sort of thing you'd expect price to do under these circumstances. You do, Renzo. That's when your multi-time frame analysis comes in, because you would look at the lower time frames. The chances are, this is an hourly chart, the chances are that the M5 is currently cycling up. So I personally wouldn't be entering a trade short while the M5 is going up. And it might be we come back up for a matching blue semaphore up here before continuing into the gap. Yeah. So yeah, there will be other opportunities to trade. Yeah, there's also an oscillator divergence as well. This course isn't necessarily talking about that, but it does exist. Of course it does. Okay. They behave the same as any other. Yeah. In that they are all calculated based on percentage retraces and expansions to do with Fibonacci levels, and they appear when certain conditions are fixed. I do not understand the coding for the indicator. All I know is it works. Yeah, but yes, blue semaphores can move. Of course they can. Abe, if you've got more questions, Abe, please change your text to go to everyone so everybody can see the question. The question was, are blue semaphores fixed? Well, they obey the same rules as the yellows and the reds in that they can move to the right for sure. Okay. Now, if you thought that was good, well, let's just review it again. A royal semaphore appears. Price crosses the wave in the tunnel. This is very specific. Price crosses the wave in the tunnel. You can't miss anything out. You have to see it all. The gold bungee must cross the channel from one reversal zone to the other. The move has to be significant relative to the previous move between the two royal semaphores. They don't happen every time, these, but when they do, they're fantastic. And we expect a new royal semaphore, so obviously we can trade after the retrace for the royal. Yeah. And that is the royal bungee trade. Okay, Snorri, well, yes, we can look at live charts maybe if you want to at the end, but I want to get through the next trade, which is even better. Okay, and the next trade is the royal yellow trendline trade, for want of a better name. Just bear with me a second. Right, okay. Royal yellow trendline trade. Here's the setup. A royal semaphore appears. We look back to the previous royal semaphore, which will be on the opposite side of the wave and tunnel. Yeah, and we draw a trend line through that royal, through the next yellow semaphore on the same side of the wave as the previous royal, but it must appear before the latest royal. Don't get confused with that. I'll show you on a chart in a minute. When price crosses the trend line, there is a very high probability that you can successfully trade to a noble semaphore. And one of our students, well, not so much a student as an accomplished trader, Barbara, must take the credit for this, for testing this out for us. She got 39 out of 40 successful trades doing this. Yeah, there is a very high probability that you can successfully trade to a noble semaphore. In addition, there is a high probability that the royal yellow trend line will not be breached and that price will continue past the noble semaphore to a royal semaphore. Okay, so what did we have? What were the rules? The rules were a royal semaphore appears. So draw trend line from the previous royal on the opposite side through the next yellow semaphore on the same side of the wave and the tunnel, or certainly the same side of the wave as that other royal, and that yellow must appear before the new royal that we're testing for. And that trend line we're calling a royal to yellow. Yeah, the royal yellow trend line trade. So there it is on the chart in orange. I drew it on before I took the snapshot. And this is so simple, you won't believe it. There we are. Now this has happened very quickly, but there we are crossing the trend line. And there's our noble semaphore, but that's happened very quickly. Okay, sometimes it does. Yeah, but look, it's continued to move. At this point, it wasn't going to turn round. If you look on the lower time frames, you will have seen this as a trending move down. So hopefully you would have stayed with it. And the pips are right down here, not when it first appears. Okay, let's move on. Here it is moving down. Here's a retrace back up. We did not cross this royal yellow trend line. We've gone down again, and that noble semaphore has moved to the right because we didn't get an upper noble and turned itself into the royal that we were looking for. Success. Successful trade. You just have to believe it. If you don't believe it, that's your choice. But go to your strategy tester or whatever the equivalent is in the charts that you use and prove it to yourself by going through history and see what the success rate is. Okay, and it's as simple as that. A royal semaphore appears. Draw a trend line from the previous opposite royal semaphore through the next yellow semaphore on the same side of the wave and before the latest royal that you're testing for. Yeah, when price crosses the trend line, very high probability of trading to a noble, high probability of trading to a royal. Okay, shall we try and find one of those on the charts, or shall we try and find some examples of those on the charts? If I stop the chart, oh, hang on, I can get rid of that orange vertical line now. We've discussed that. So we're on the H1 charts. I'll stop it scrolling and we'll whiz back and we'll see it in action. I might have to no, hang on, we'll do it on the chart itself with the orange line. Royal semaphore appears at the bottom. Go back to the previous, draw a line through the first. Now then, what I want you to pick up here that's not in the notes, and that is that if price action generates another yellow that's closer, you need to move your trend line to it. Yeah, look at that. when price crosses up through that, and if that's too close for comfort, look at it on that one. We draw the line from the previous royal through a yellow on the same side of the wave. It's better if it's the same side of the wave and the tunnel, but certainly the same side of the wave. When price crosses that trend line, yeah, in effect, it's saying that's fixed. It's no longer going to move to the right. And you can trade in the new direction until you get a new royal. Okay, let's advance the chart and see if we get another. Oh, hang on, I'll just delete that line first. There wasn't one here, so there's nothing we can do about it. There's one. Okay, so we draw the line from the previous royal through the yellow semaphore on the same side of the wave. Now that one is obviously way out. That's far too far away from price. But as price moves, we move the trend line down and we keep it on the nearest yellow. Yeah, so that's the trend line. Once this royal appears down here, that's the yellow we need to engage, to employ for the trend line, because it's the nearest to the wave. Are you with that? It's not the first one, it's the nearest. And now let's see what happens, because this is a chart. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Fixing the lower royal semaphore. Trading for an upper noble. Shouldn't cross the trend line again until after we get an upper royal. Right, let's delete that. We'll do another. There's the upper royal that's appeared. So we go back to the previous. We draw a yellow trend line through the yellow that's nearest. Right, well, that one, look how we've respected it for the end of the move. We might not want to use that because that's a bit close, isn't it? We're right on it. So you have to have some judgment. Yeah. You might want to take a chance there by saying, no, that's it, we're going. But I prefer to have, I'm quite a conservative trader. I prefer to have my confirmations. So that's too close. I would move to the next. Okay. Well, let's see what happens now. Well, that was a spike down below the trend line. Whether you count that as a cross or not, I don't know. But then we have a break here. We have a move back up. Did it respect the trend line or did it cross it? Well, again, we're talking about regions rather than precise levels. That's the same with anything, isn't it? Yes. Don't you employ regions with harmonic patterns, regions with where Elliott waves may well end? So same thing. I'm not defending this. I'm just saying you need to employ judgment sometimes when you're assessing it. If you count that as having gone back to the trend line, then get out and don't do it. Yeah. If you employ judgment, then oops, didn't mean to do that. If you employ judgment, then we move the chart on, and sure enough, we come down for a royal. Off we go again. Upper royal, nearest trend line, nearest yellow, sorry, on the same side of the wave. Break the trend line, get an upper royal. Success again. This is how you would test it. And now we're up to date and we're stuck. Yeah, there was no yellow between these two, so we can't employ it to fix that. But we've discussed this trade already, and we're talking about the Royal Bungee trade, where because it involves Royal Semaphores and the yellow bungee crossing the channel, so that's different altogether. It depends on where the trend line crosses, Henry. It could be a confirmation for a price to wave. It could be a confirmation for a fill the gap. It could be a confirmation for a breakout one. But you've got the right idea. Depends where the trend line actually draws. Yes, Gregory. Yes, you can do it on the 5-minute chart. Everything applies to all charts. Okay, and you've actually said that now. Let's move on. Simple enough, straightforward, questions and answers. We can now do whatever you like for the next few minutes. It's your show. Yeah, you ask the questions, I will do my level best to answer them. And then you can go away, look for these trades, help each other out in the Skype room. The beautiful thing about trading is the more you help other people, the better you become yourself. Yeah. You're not in competition with other traders doing the same thing. You're actually helping each other move the market. It's minuscule relative. What is my Greenwich Mean Time? Greenwich Mean Time 2 and Greenwich Mean GM5 different in semaphores. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. On the charts I use, I think this is what you're asking, Gregory. On the charts I use, on the current hourly candle, yeah, it's the 3 p.m. candle because it's working on Eastern European time. So my chart is 2 hours ahead of GMT. And of course, GMT is 5 hours ahead of New York time, Eastern time. Yeah, so this chart is 7 hours ahead of Eastern time. And I am aware that on the higher time frames, the H4 and the daily, yeah, it can affect where these semaphores appear. If you want a recording of these sessions, it will be shortly after we finish. It will be in the normal trading room recording place. And I believe that Juan is also putting them into the training area. Yeah. And he, hopefully there'll be an email out letting you know when that's been done. But if you want them in the short term, just two of them are already up there. Trading room recordings on the website. Can I? Oh yes, Snorri. Sorry, I nearly forgot. Yeah, you're right. I had forgotten that. You said the H4. Oh, that's our last line. Let's delete that line. Oh, well, hang on. Oh, no, there wasn't one there, so nothing to look at. No, okay, never mind. Okay. Yes. Yes. H1, looking for lower Royal Semaphore below there, provided we turn round up here. yeah, somewhere. On the H4 chart, what that looks like is we're looking for a lower royal semaphore below there on the H1 before we go above there on the H1. So we have to turn round here. I must confess, this is such a deep retrace, it makes you begin to doubt. And I have doubted in the past and stayed clear of the market. And it's done exactly what it predicted. It's given us the lower royal. And I'd wish that I'd had faith. Yeah, you just got to have faith. So this 4-hour chart, we've got a move between two royals up there. Price has retraced just shy of 62%, so that's a valid retrace. Price has crossed the wave in the tunnel. Gold bungees crossed the channel. So on the 4-hour chart, we're expecting price to come below here before it goes above here. And on the 1-hour chart, we're expecting price to go below here before it goes above here. Yeah. So if the 1-hour chart lets us down, we're still looking to go lower on the 4-hour chart. And if we take all that away, yeah, if we come down for a lower royal on the hourly, we might go low enough for that to move to the right. We could then come up somewhere up here and then come down for our lower royal on the 4-hour. So it could still all take place. It's just each time frame has to cycle through before the next one kicks in. Yeah. We're not necessarily, what I'm saying is that we're not going to get the 1-hour lower royal and the 4-hour lower royal all in one hit. We could get the 1-hour lower royal, retrace, and then get the 4-hour lower royal. Can we look at the Euro New Zealand on the H4? Yeah, we can. H4. Well, we don't have a royal, we don't have a yellow trend line break on this chart because there were no intervening yellow semaphores between the two royals, so we can't draw one. But we can go down to the H1 and we can see this H1 lower yellow royal yellow trend line coming down here. We would redraw it actually. This has been in there for quite some time. We need to redraw it. So instead of going through that point up here, we bring it into the closest. And here on the hourly, we've now got our upper royal having crossed that trend line. So that's served its useful. We'll get rid of it. Okay. There was an M15 one here, which is no use anymore as well. That's long since gone. Okay, so back up to the H4 then. So what are you wanting to see on here? Yeah, we want to know when this is fixed. Well, we can't draw the trend line because there's no yellow semaphore to draw it to. Don't forget the rules. The yellow semaphore must be before the new royal, before this point. It's got to be over here somewhere. There isn't one. Sometimes there isn't one. Tough. You can't employ it. Doesn't matter. Wait for the next. Yeah. We do not yet have price crossing the wave in the tunnel. We do not yet have the yellow bungee crossing the channel. So we're not yet looking for an upper royal. What we are looking at here, if we get this as a proper reversal pattern, is a high probability that we get a bounce off the tunnel to the other side of the wave. But it has to go, and I'm not going short on a green candle, and I would need to look at the lower time frame anyway. But always when you get to the tunnel, you have to assess whether there's a bounce off the tunnel opportunity. This is an H4 chart. Let's turn the scrolling off. Let's move back. This isn't really anything to do with the training we've just done, but let's just look at this. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave, success. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave, success. Bounce off the tunnel, didn't quite make it. So there's one that let us down. Yeah, I don't know how close you have to have a bounce off the tunnel. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave, success. Bounce off the tunnel, didn't quite make it. We'd have to go further back, wouldn't we, to see more of them. They just happen. I'll tell you where they really do work, and that is the euro. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave as a minimum. Bounce off the tunnel, top of the wave. Just if price turns around at the tunnel, the minimum target is a high probability of reaching the top of the wave. That's all it is. It's like a breakout 4 trade, but you get them when you don't get a breakout 4. It's the start of a breakout 4, and very often you get these trades when you're not really looking for a breakout 4. It's just something the market does with amazing regularity. So you're looking for a reversal pattern at the tunnel, and that might happen on a lower time frame. So when you see the analysis from the rooms and it says watch for a bounce off the tunnel, that's all it means, is where we could be here, you see. We could be there. And the advice from the analysis would be watch for a bounce off the tunnel, because that's coming up next. It's might not happen. It might go straight through the tunnel. Okay, well, that doesn't matter. But if it does bounce off the tunnel, you've got a target of the other side of the wave, and you might be best, if it's going to be a retrace, you only expect 3 waves. So if you see a wave up and move back down and it starts going up again, yeah, this is the 3rd leg, the waves C, and the high probability is it will reach the far side of the wave. And that's when we say in the notes, watch for a bounce off the tunnel. That's all we mean, that prices are approaching the tunnel. Yeah, and that's what you should watch out for. If we were here, we might say that the price to wave is completing, or the return to the wave, sorry, is completing. If somebody tells you the return to the wave is completing, if you know anything about wavy tunnel at all, you know that the next most likely trade is a breakout 3. Surely nobody has to tell you that. Yeah? If you return to the wave and the wave's going up and the tunnel's going up and you've done it in 3 waves and you've got a bungee stretch away, yeah? So the notes might say, return to the wave completing. And you, in your head, that should immediately say, oh, if it stops in the wave, we'll get a breakout 3. If it keeps going into the gap, and this did, but only slightly, so that doesn't count. If it keeps going into the gap, then it's a price to wave. I wait for the retrace and I sell it for a fill the gap. Okay, and this one, it unfortunately was the victim of sideways moves, so a breakout 3 with a stop below that pivot, actually you'd have been all right. It retraced a long way, but you'd have been all right, because the breakout 3 from here actually went. Anyway, that's my point. Is the notes aren't telling you to take the trade right now. The notes are saying watch out for this situation. There is a trading opportunity developing. Okay, any more questions and answers? Any more in the questions and answers? If you're not sure, ask in the Skype room. Yeah, because if I don't see your question, there are plenty of traders who come regularly to the rooms who do. They'll be able to answer you. Or go back through your wavy tunnel training that you had from Jody, revisit your notes, or go back through these webinars that we've just done this week. Yeah, and you'll find your answer. And that brings us to the end of the 3 webinars on the bungee, the semaphores, and the wavy tunnel. If you discover any additional information, please share it with everybody. I am convinced we have not yet exhausted the help that the semaphores and the bungee can give us to our trading. And then the usual stuff. Please be patient. Wait for these trades to develop. Don't jump the gun. If you jump the gun, you have a high probability of being disappointed. Be disciplined. Yeah, trade on your analysis, not on your emotions. Make profits, have fun, and I hope to see a lot of you in the trading rooms in the new year. And thank you for all your comments. Have a wonderful Christmas, everybody. Take time out, shut your computer down, have a few days away from it. Come back in the new year nice and refreshed. The first trading room in the new year is the New York room on Tuesday the 2nd of January. Yeah, and at some point in the new year, relatively early, we will be doing another special on using a background version of MT4 to do some of your market monitoring for you. And that's by special request that we've had. Somebody's asked me to put that one out. So that's to look forward to. Yeah, it does help with wave counts. Yeah, okay, everybody. That's it. Gotta go. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Have fun over the Christmas and New Year season. I'll see you next year. Bye.